Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Let's get ready to be at our best now. Be at our best.
Yeah, it's gonna be a boring one today.
Those guys don't all suck.
You son of a B!
ASAP, any score, any place, you know we bring well. We bout there. We'll pull up on anybody and get it done.
Suck it, Raiders.
He is dead.
I love you, Jeff. Bye.
Joe, start fast.
They're the next team on our schedule, and we trying to do something big here. We trying to win a Super Bowl.
Another beautiful day.
It is.
Hey there, everybody. This is Charger Chat. Finally through the draft. Lots to talk about this episode, folks. I'm your co-host, Wolldog, sitting with my two brothers, Kev Hug and Duggan.
What's up, guys?
And Kyle the Coach Duggan.
Aloha.
Aloha, everybody.
I love that name. It's like the Hawaiian high mixed with the normal English high. It's
Yes.
aloha. Get
Aloha.
it?
It's us
Aloha.
trying to speak Hawaiian.
Yeah.
It's the Americanized version.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, lots to talk about, folks. Obviously, we just got through the draft this weekend. Those of you that heard our initial reactions, hope you enjoyed those. We were pretty
It was a roller
animated and
coaster.
upfront of our emotions. Yeah. But as we always do, what has been going on with you guys outside of this draft? It feels like this draft has taken up most of our lives, at least for the past 3 days. So that's almost half a week. What's been going on the other half?
Jack and shit for me. I've just been doing the
Yeah.
draft and nothing else. I've just been kind of bored lately, so I've been editing some videos and
Yes.
just trying to engage with everybody at Charger World. So it's been really fun. Made some friends this weekend actually, so that was really nice.
Well, your efforts have not gone unnoticed. Those that have paid attention, Kev has basically become our social media guru at this point, uploading videos of highlights and getting templates together for our Instagram. We're getting a little bit more professional every day here, folks. Thanks, COVID-19, for pushing us in the right direction.
I would have never have done this if I actually had work like I was supposed to have. So COVID-19, you were done one good thing, I guess.
Trying to find that one silver lining. What about you, Kyle? What's going on in your world? You look a little red.
I am a little red. San Diego got a little bit of a heat wave the last 3 or 4 days. And my 3-year-old son is not about staying inside. So, you know what? I'm just getting a little April tan. Right now it's red, but it'll turn.
Oh,
It'll
yeah.
turn. It'll turn.
It's going to be fine.
But yeah, other than that, pretty much nothing. I mean,
Excellent.
if anyone has stories of something that's going on, they're probably breaking the law because you're not allowed to leave your house. So
It's true.
also I went down, me and my wife drove down to the beach and we went to just go get like a acai bowl because we're fancy like that. And people in beach
Jeez,
towns,
fancy
people
bitch.
in beach towns apparently don't obey the law. There's just people everywhere walking around the streets on dates, riding bicycles together. It's like, what's going
All
on?
eating
We,
acai bowls, just
yeah. No, we went there. We had our masks on. We ordered ahead, went in, hand sanitized, grabbed it, and left. Meanwhile, there's people with their dogs sitting in the park right there. I'm like, all right, Encinitas, you guys just don't degaff about anything. You're just doing your own thing. So.
Well, you know what? You look red, but you also got burned with how bad your predictions were for who we were going to draft.
Oh, don't try to do
Is
that.
did you go to the pool, or was that just the draft that made you red because you got so burned?
No, nobody had even one pick that was close to being right.
No, and let's not forget who shouted no at the end of round 5.
Yeah, I thought you were about to blow a blood vessel in your head from being so upset.
What, round 5? You mean the round 1?
Pick 5, I should say. Pick 5.
Yeah, you know what? In hindsight, and it makes me look like a flip-flop bitch, because I was so like, dude, I'm not doing this Herbert thing. But it's that thing, just being a Charger fan.
Yeah.
It's like, am I going to be shitty against this guy for his whole time as a Charger?
Right.
No, I'm going to tuck my tail between my legs, shut the F up about my criticisms of him, and just watch every highlight he's ever had and get on board. And that's just what I
get
did.
hyped.
Maybe that makes me a little B, but hey, I'm a little B then.
No,
You're not a little B.
Yeah,
Shut up, Kyle.
You're a big B.
Bitch.
No,
You're a
that's
giant B.
I've seen too many salty Charger fans that feel the need to stick to their guns of this was my emotion at the time that this happened, and I'm going to hold on to this emotion as opposed to, you know what, let me just grow with it. Let me accept it. Let me embrace it.
Yeah.
And let's keep progressing. So, you know, we all of us were saying that we didn't want Herbert, but now that it's official, I mean, we can't change it, number one. So, all right, well, let's really dive deep into this guy. And you know what? I don't hate it anymore. No. I just don't.
What I found was that the articles and stuff that I was reading peripheral, because I wasn't deep diving him because I didn't want him, just because the few articles I had read were negative. Because all the articles were comparing him to Tua and Burrow. So he was just, it was an unfair situation. I think I was just reading shitty articles. And that's my fault for not doing the due diligence of like actually going and, you know, doing more research on him. But like watching every highlight video that he's had that's on the internet and hearing his people talk about him, seeing all this stuff, like he's like a good kid. This kid's not going to get in trouble getting, you know, arrested at strip clubs. That's not his style. He's like a very smart, very together kid that is like a homebody that, you know, grew up next to the Oregon Stadium and just wanted to play for Oregon. Like he's just an interesting kid. I think it's closer to what we're used to. And I think it's still growing. I'm gonna have to see him practice and see some videos and stuff of him throwing to our guys, but you know, all accounts, you know, we're getting behind him.
Absolutely. And as we should, we want to see what this guy can do. You know, I get the mentality of, you know, we're hopefully not going to be in a situation where we're picking in the top, you know, 6 again. So let's go for that franchise quarterback. So it makes sense. You know, I support it. I still want Tyrod to still be the guy. And hey, if Justin can sit behind Tyrod for a couple of years, learn and get better. So that way he's pristine when it's time to actually come out and perform. I'm all for it.
I have an interesting scenario for you guys.
Bring it. Yeah.
I was listening to an analyst and he said, because we did the Herbert 6 overall and then traded up to get Kenneth Murray, pick 23, was it? Pick 23?
Yeah.
Somebody was saying what we could have done, and tell me if you like this better, is taking Isaiah Simmons 6 overall, traded up to get Jordan Love in about the same range. Would you rather Isaiah Simmons and Jordan Love or Justin Herbert, Kenneth Murray?
I like Herbsies and Murray. I prefer that of the two. And what I kind of realized too is with the Kenneth Murray thing is like, we got both things we needed. Like when I was talking about Isaiah Simmons, that did not have a quarterback in this scenario. Like that was just him.
Right.
Here we got one of the top 3 quarterbacks, and we got like the second best linebacker in the whole thing. So if anything, I think it's the best scenario out of all of those, you know?
Yeah. And I think that the Kenneth Murray fit is just, I think it's maybe a little bit better for the Chargers. Like to have a Derwin James and a Derwin James 2.0 would be great, but it does get difficult. Like you do need some of those stereotypical positions, you know, like, so like having that thumper that can play the mic and sit in there, or the will and be in the box and be the guy that's just going to really mess things up. And he's a great pass rusher. I don't know. He's obviously not an Isaiah Simmons where he's not going to drop back and play safety, but I think we have that in Derwin, you know? Right. So we already have that kind of change of pace guy that where's he going to line up? What's he going to do type of thing.
Absolutely.
Agree.
Yeah, I agree too. I think, I mean, I've seen too many comments on Isaiah being overhyped or Kenneth Murray being a more prototypical linebacker that just better fits our scheme. You know, you got to trust obviously that the coaches and the coordinators are making the right decisions, you know, and they're not throwing darts at a dartboard. They want the guys that they pick.
Right.
And I don't think any of the picks that we had, we ended up settling. So yeah, it was a fun draft. Like there wasn't, you know, you got to see some fans in the background making a big deal out of it, but this was a nice, just stay at home draft. We all watched it from home. I think it was, what did I see? That it was the most watched draft ever. And obviously because it had to be, because that's the only way you were going to witness it. You couldn't enjoy it live. You couldn't actually be there. So,
well, they were expecting like 750,000 people in Las Vegas is what I heard on the broadcast. So
Damn.
That's a lot of people that didn't get to go see it live.
That is. And they all had to watch it from home. I think 15 million and change.
Is that how much it was?
No. That's how many people watched it.
Holy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a lot of people that watched. So it was pretty darn good. I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. It was like halfway through the first round, Roger Goodell changed his outfit. I don't know. Did he
Yeah,
spill
you
some
mentioned
salsa
that on
it?
the instant. Yeah, like what's up with this dude?
I want to know what happened. It was just like he went from jacket to like a casual sweater. It was like,
And then
what are you doing?
Got
later,
past the
like-
first 5 picks. He's like, these guys are chill now. I'm gonna be a little more
Right.
casual.
I'm going to let my hair down a little bit.
He's in
here.
like a tracksuit by round 5 or 6.
I know.
I would
Well,
have
he-
loved that.
It was the weird progression. At some point in like day 2 or 3, he decided, you know what? I'm going to sit down for the rest of these. And not only am I going to sit down for the rest of these,
My
I'm
legs
going to
are
show you
tired.
guys how awesome my chair is. And this chair is really comfortable. So I'm just going to sit
my
here.
God.
And these M&Ms that are next to me that after like 3 picks, all of them are gone. Come on, dude.
That
Stop
would be
eating all
great.
those goddamn M&Ms, Goodell. Pull it
Yeah.
together, man.
Ease up on the M&Ms, buddy.
Yeah.
And let's see, what were there any highlights to the draft that you guys saw?
Well, there were some funny things like where people didn't realize they were on camera. Who was the player where he was sitting next to his girlfriend and he had like 2 phones, like
Oh,
talking
Jerry
to people?
Judy. Or no,
Jerry
CD Lamb, I think. I think it was CD Lamb.
And his girl tried to take his phone. He just like
Yeah.
snatched it back and like
Yeah.
Whoa.
that was pretty awesome.
Yeah. I was going to say, we got some shade. I even had some like family members that aren't Charger fans texting me because you know how they had like fans up in the TV behind Goodell, like
Oh, yeah.
in the squares, like all hyped up and excited. And when the Chargers first round pick, it was even the first round, like there were 3 or 4 empty squares.
Yes.
I don't
That's-
know what that
it's-
was from.
It's
or,
bullshit because I was in a virtual draft with like 200, 150 people.
yeah.
It just like the league dropped the ball on who they chose to put up there. There were a lot of Charger fans watching, man. There were a lot.
I know. It's just not a good, I mean,
It's
it's
just
not
that
a
they-
good look.
They just
Well,
always
it's
do
not.
that to us somehow. It's
Yeah.
such
But
bullshit.
it wasn't just our team. There were a couple of other
Yeah.
teams that had some spots. And honestly, it's not that they couldn't find enough people. It's like you're asking for as many people as there are right now to basically live stream to Roger Goodell's,
Right.
man cave and
Yeah.
make sure that all the connections are working fine. I mean, hell, we even have connections and there's just 3 of us trying to talk to each other. We have
Right.
issues. So it's not that they couldn't find people. It's that the connection drops. Like,
Yeah, chill the
get
fuck
out of
down.
here.
But they're people are looking for ways to poke at it.
Of
and
course.
it did look kind of funny when it came up with empty just
Right.
Charger squares.
Well,
Right.
and they blew it once when the Rams were picking. They put LA Chargers up before the Rams picked. So the Rams got a little burned by us on that one. So that's good.
Whatever. We're going to take LA. I did
Just
see
like Kyle's.
Ooh, good one, Kev. Keep
Oh,
those
little
dad
slow
jokes
guy.
coming.
Sorry, it's been a long day. That was pretty shitty joke. Sorry.
No, I don't know who it was, but I think somebody posted a clip on Reddit of somebody. It was like a mom, a dad, and a kid. And they were talking about like, we're really excited to have the Raiders in Las Vegas. And then the kid
Yeah.
goes, Raiders suck.
Was that what he said?
Yeah, he was like, the Raiders suck. And you could see the dad go like, hey, come on.
Oh, we gotta find that soundbite.
It's funny. I'll have to pull it up. We'll try to include it here in maybe our opening song or something. Of kids saying Raiders suck. But let's see. Let's take a look at the draft in general. We've taken a look at what the AFC West did. Chargers. From per the New York Post, because the New York Post is the epitome of all sports analytics. Chargers got a B. Broncos pulled out an A. Chiefs a B-, and Raiders coming up with a D.
A big fat D.
Big fat D. As far as the first round picks, Chiefs were the last ones to pick, understandably so. They ended up taking a Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Which is kind of like, God damn it. Like, they
I
didn't
know.
need to get any better on offense. That kind of, they were obviously going to get a great
They never
talent
do.
in the first round, but
Right.
oh man, that's kind of annoying.
Yeah, the Super Bowl team never really needs to get better, but they got to.
There's always somebody that ends up sliding to that last pick. It's usually the Patriots, and they get some stud that you're like, how did he end up not going to anyone?
Come on.
You're gonna let these guys get better?
Patriots and Belichick, by the way, like the guy can't do anything wrong in the draft. Like they drafted some no-name kid in the second round.
Great name, but
it's just like everyone's like, "Oh wow, what a great pick!" Like, yeah, any other GM makes that pick, and you're giving him a hard time.
You're getting fired. His name was Kyle Duggar, so great name. But yeah, he played NAIA at some tiny little school, not even NCAA. NAIA is like outside of Division III,
and that's their second round
pick because he had an outrageous combine. He was like the fastest, the strongest, jumped the highest. So now he's a second round pick, A grade in the draft.
Dumb.
But
they praised him.
Do you know what's more dumb
broadcast.
is he's gonna be insanely good. That's what's really dumb.
He's just destined to be good.
Yeah. If he gets picked by the Patriots in the first or second round, he's gonna be good.
I don't know. I think the tide has changed for the Patriots. I don't think they're going to be what everyone thinks they are anymore.
Going back to the Super Bowl champions, I don't think they should get a first round pick. Just don't.
They should just draft first in the second round.
No, they draft last in the second round. They get no first round pick, no change in order. They're the last pick of the second round.
I like that.
That's what it should be.
Yeah, let's get some rule changes going.
Especially if it's an AFC West team that wins.
Yeah, I agree.
Wholeheartedly. We win this.
I'll let Goodell know.
Get on that. Let's see. Broncos ended up drafting a wide receiver, Jerry Jeudy, and Raiders ended up drafting a wide receiver as well. Is it Henry Ruggs?
Yeah.
Henty?
That's a typo. Henry Ruggs.
Is a typo? Okay. Henry Ruggs.
Yeah.
Wide receiver.
So it's just classic Raiders. It must be Davis, their owner, because the GMs and coaches change and they still just draft the fastest guy in the draft in the combine. They just draft the fastest guy. That's just hands down. That's what they're going to do.
Because they had Judy. He was the first receiver. Number one.
It was Judy and CD Lamb. Those were the two best guys. And they go with Henry Ruggs, who's not even the best guy on his own team in college.
That's crazy.
Jerry Jeudy, Judy was the guy. Henry Ruggs was just the burner. But of course, the Raiders, they take the first wide receiver and they go with Henry. The Raiders are just,
which is good.
Happy that they're
That's
stupid.
good for the Broncos because then Jerry Jeudy fell to them. Like, what a gift you just gave the Broncos.
Yeah. Yep. The Raiders, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't even know what to say. They made that pick and I was like, what are they doing?
What did they draft? Like, didn't they have like a whole bunch of random draft picks? It was like the weirdest collection.
They did have quite a few draft picks, but they ended up getting like 3 wide receivers, 2 cornerbacks, a guard, and a safety, I think. And
3 wide receivers. Damn.
It's best not to try to understand crazy. It's like trying to talk to a drunk guy at a party. You know that you're trying to make sense to this person, and it's just not going to happen. So let's focus.
And he won't remember in the morning. So
no, exactly. Let's look at our picks. So obviously we've already mentioned Justin Herbert drafted in the first round, and Kenneth Murray traded up our second and third round picks to get him 23rd overall. And yeah, I think those were great picks. I mean, it's funny because when I listened to our episode again, and it was like we all saw Kenneth Murray, and we're just like, wait, what? Like we were so dumbfounded. Like we weren't expecting that. It wasn't any of the guys that we thought would be.
No.
Yeah, I thought we were all sold that we were going to take a tackle. Like we were moving up to get our left tackle.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not that I didn't like Kenneth Murray. I just did not see that coming at all.
The left field for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, he was supposed to be drafted in the in the top 20. So then he fell to us, and it just felt like the Chargers had to go up and get him.
Well, Anthony Lynn's in love with him too. So none of us could have known that he was in love with him.
No.
So I mean that's the more I look at what he does and what he's should become, I get really, really excited. And everyone's like, oh, they gave up a second and a third. We didn't. We gave up a third.
Yeah.
We just moved our second round pick up about 10 spots, and we gave up our third round pick.
Right.
You give up a third round pick and you get a second first round pick. That's
a sweet
game.
deal.
Yeah. 2 top 20 players. I'll take that for sure.
Yeah.
That is a sweet deal. Yeah. No, you can't argue that. It's we lost a third round pick. Oh, well, I mean, look at who else we got. 4th round, we ended up drafting running back Joshua Kelly from UCLA. solid grab. Watch the highlights of this kid. Looks awesome.
Yeah, he's more of a power guy, which I think he will go in with what we have now better. That's why I wanted that kid from Boston College, because he was just a power back. He's similar, and 5'11", 215 almost, and he had 2,000-yard seasons back to back. So that's, productive. So that's a good pick.
No, and we needed it. Honestly, we had 2 running backs set up going into this, and we needed that third guy. So I'm happy to have him. And also, I mean, this is for me personally, his first video as a Charger. He's wearing a My Hero Academia shirt. I freaking love that show. So he is instantly my favorite running back by far. Happy to have you, Mr. Kelly.
Awesome.
Let's see. 5th round, we got wide receiver Joe Reed out of Virginia. Solid return guy for all accounts, and is just going to be plug and play from the looks of it. We've got Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, and it was pretty much question marks after that, even though we had 8 wide receivers, 2 of them with the last name Johnson. Never heard of any of them. So good to have somebody from some fresh talent.
Well, and he's like an all-purpose guy too. Like Daniel Popper, I sent you guys the tweet he sent, where the team told him that they want him to play wide receiver, line up in the backfield, and return kicks and punts. So literally running back, wide receiver, and returner.
Here's my question. So I think all of our picks point to our GM picks the best player available. And we really like to pick dynamic players. They can play a lot of positions. Like, that's what we're looking for. Mm-hmm. Because Joe Reed, everything I've looked at, and also the final, and I think the most important for our GM and coach is character. All these guys are hugely high character guys.
Yes.
Captains they've been like, they don't get in trouble. There's nothing that's ever an issue. But I just don't get the Joe Reed pick. I'm not mad about it whatsoever. I think the guy is a good player, and he adds some speed to our receiving core, and he's very dynamic. He's almost like Eckler, how he's a running back kind of wide receiver.
Oh, he lines up outside all the time.
Joe Reed's like a wide receiver / running, a little bit more on the receiver side, but he can do all those other things. So it's awesome. But we just signed Darius Jennings to be basically a return specialist. That's pretty much all that he does, the guy we signed from the Titans. Right. So it just seemed a little bit odd to me to throw in, like, everyone's emphasizing how great he is at returning, and I'm like, maybe one does punts, one does kickoff returns, but Darius Jennings, we just paid a lot of money. I mean, we paid a good chunk of cash just to return kicks.
Well, it's clearly competition, because the team told him they wanted him to return kicks and punts. So
I was going to say, it feels like it's
probably
just
cheaper too.
Yeah. If you want to be the guy that does this, then you need to show up and actually perform, because there's a guy sitting right behind you that's ready to go. Yeah. Then we had Alohi Gilman from Notre Dame, our first Notre Dame pick.
Our token Notre Dame captain that we have to get every year.
Gotta have him.
Gotta have him.
He seems pretty cool. I watched his highlight video as well, and he just seems like a solid character, man, and great center. Or excuse me, safety.
Yeah. Yeah, I was looking up some of his stats, and he set a record at Notre Dame for the most tackles in a game.
Really?
Which is 19.
Whoa.
Kyle, tell us a little bit. What was your highest tackle game when you played linebacker?
Probably like 12 or 13, maybe 15. Tops.
So 19's insane.
Yeah, 10, if you're averaging 10 tackles a game, that's incredible. So to go 19, that's unheard of for sure.
That's insane. Was he the only guy on the field?
I know, right? What team were they playing? Like the Naval Academy or somebody that runs the ball every single play?
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a stud. And what I really love about that pick is special teams. He's going to be on punt. He's going to be on punt return, kickoff return. He's going to be on every single special teams, because he's like when we first picked him, I was like, this is basically Adrian Phillips. They're replacing that position. Yep. So that's I love that pick. In the 6th round, to get an all around special teams guy like that, that's awesome.
But I just thought the one thing I didn't understand was, like, when I saw we were picking a safety when it came up, I was like, why? Yeah. Like, what? Right. How bad do you guys hate Desmond King? Like, I don't understand this dynamic and why we were picking him at this place, because there were still some good tackles, some decent, my guy that I would projected in the 2nd round, fell to the 7th.
That was
Ortega
insane.
Winega.
Burned. Somebody.
He was
I
there.
got burned because of my picks.
Yeah,
you
you're
had
burned.
you had a guy in the 2nd round that
Burned me.
that got drafted in the 7th.
I don't know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about, everybody. I'm guessing just as much as you guys are.
Well,
but
yeah, none of us
I-
apparently knew.
I just didn't get, and by consensus, like when you look at
Yeah.
everyone kind of looking at our drafts, this is the one pick most people are like, what? We don't quite understand that one.
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense if you're bringing him on just to be special teamer. So
No.
hopefully he does well there.
Coach Lynn already came out and said he's going to contribute on defense. So they project him to play somewhere on the defensive side of the ball. I don't know. This is the only draft that I've in my memory that we didn't take a single lineman, offensive or defensive. There's no lineman whatsoever in our draft.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know. Like you're repeating. We drafted 2 wide receivers. We drafted a safety that we're so deep at safety. Nasir Adderley has never even played.
Right.
You know, like we have a lot, but yeah, if he might just be that special teams guy that is a 6th round pick that's cheap and can
Like
get
a
the job
Zub-
done at a high level.
Like a Dzubnar that's got a cooler name.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which would you rather, Alohi or Dzubnar?
I'll take an Alohi, bro.
It's no contest. It's no contest. And then finally, arguably the steal of the draft, the all-time receptionist from Ohio State, KJ Hill, wide receiver. I mean, the pool of wide receivers just must have been insane for this draft to get the guy that had the most receptions at Ohio State to fall to the 7th freaking round.
Yeah.
It's crazy because it feels very much like the Keenan Allen story to me again, where he didn't have a good, didn't look good at the combine. He was running slow. Basically exactly what happened to Keenan.
Right.
And he fell he was supposed to be a 3rd to 5th round pick and he fell to the 7th. This guy he's just a ball catching machine.
Yeah.
That runs great routes. He doesn't need to be the fastest. He's not taken off the top of the defense. He's supposed to run great routes. And he said he basically made his game after Keenan Allen. Like that's who he studied the most. So, hey, you're going to be teammates with him, sitting in the same room with him, getting ready for the season.
Awesome.
So that's killer, man. I'm really
I love
excited
that.
for that.
It's another example of why I hate the combine. It's like this guy's stock goes down. He's a football player. And he's proven to be able to do that at one of the top programs in the whole country.
Yes.
On a high level and break a school record for receptions, not at NAIA, like nobody's school, at the Ohio State University.
Yes.
The guy can ball. Like just because he had a poor draft, now he's going to drop to the 7th. Like I'm not upset about it because he landed on our team.
Exactly.
But like that's incredible how much running a 40 can affect your draft stock. The guy can
Right.
play football.
Right.
Bottom line.
Right.
And I have a little extra like hope for him for the sheer fact that his name is Hill and I live in Missouri. So I can wear a Hill jersey that is a Charger jersey to walk around all these Tyreek Hill wearing nerds. And I can wear my Hill on the back of my jersey. That is an awesome potential for me, just personally. So I have a vested interest in KJ Hill and him kicking ass and making the starting lineup. Just so I can rub it in all these people's faces. I have bad things to say. I'll stop. Leave it
Kansas
there.
City knuckleheads.
Nerds. I live in Missouri, in case you guys didn't know.
Well, I think it's a solid draft. As Kyle mentioned, we didn't draft any linemen on either side of the ball. Every round, it was just like, okay, here comes a tackle. Nope. Okay, next round, here comes a tackle. Nope. But finally, in undrafted free agency, we got, count it, 1 tackle. And he goes by the name of Ryan Roberts from FSU. And I just wanted to at least look at this guy and just see, okay, like, is he somebody? Like, is he somebody that actually could come in and play? And for all accounts, he seems to be that way. The guy, I mean, he's 23 years old. He's 6'6", 305. So he doesn't quite have as much weight as some of these other tackles that went in the first round. But that's fine. He can still work on, bulking up and getting a little heavier in the muscle department. But he came because he played for FSU, but he didn't play his entire career at FSU. He just played his last year at FSU. I think it was Northern Illinois, maybe. I don't know. Who cares? Who cares about the first few years? It's about the last year that he played. So he played at FSU, played at tackle, played most of his games at right tackle, but did play one game at left tackle. And the thing that I thought was really, I mean, again, talking about Telesco drafting guys with character, this guy's got such strong character. It's crazy. He ended up getting the National Football Foundation Hampshire Honor Society, which is basically an academic award, meaning that dude's smart. Dude is really smart. And listening to him in his interviews, like, the dude is really well. I mean, you look at him and you're like, oh my God, this guy's a monster. He's a freak. Like, he's just going to eat people for breakfast. But then you hear him talk and you're like, oh my God, this guy's actually like well-learned, incredibly smart. Like, I hope that he makes the team. He just seems like a really cool dude, big, beefy monster that is a leader in the locker room. You know, just more leaders, which I don't know. I don't know if that'll ever be a problem, having too many leaders in the locker room. Hopefully there's more humble leaders than just straight up leaders. But Ryan Roberts from FSU, you're the only tackle we drafted, so I'm happy to have you, buddy.
It's interesting that the Chargers always do so well with getting really good guys as undrafted free agents. Like, you look at some of our best players, Gates, you know, you're looking at Austin Eckler, some of these guys that weren't no one cared about. And we picked up, I think it was 19 guys. Was it 19? Something like that we pulled on.
I believe it was 19, yeah.
Like, that's a lot of players, and, you know,
it's a lot.
You never know what you're going to hit there. And I looked at two guys that, you know, because I was like, oh, we brought in two fullbacks. So really what I love about these guys are their names. So the first fullback's name is Bobby Holly. It's a pretty sweet name.
It's a great
second
name.
guy's name is Gabe Neighbors. Dope name. He sounds like he should be like a Simpsons character or something.
Totally ho.
But both of them, we don't have a fullback on our roster. So, you know, give these guys a chance. We'll see. They're both kind of big guys, and there's not a ton of information on them, but we'll see. You know, you never know what you're going to get in these undrafted guys.
Yeah, we got to fill those special teams. We lost Watt, we lost Phillips, we lost DeZubnar, we lost Jeremy Davis. All of those guys played on special teams, so I have a feeling a lot of our draft picks are going to be playing special teams. So hopefully that department will step it up. Kyle, did you take a look at anybody?
I did. I was wanting to see like kind of some storylines in some of these free agents. I did my best to look it up. One guy that kind of caught my eye, obviously because our favorite university to get players from is Notre Dame. So this Asmar Bilal, he's a linebacker from Notre Dame. So he's one of those guys that with all of COVID-19 and social distancing, people kind of self-quarantining, his pro day at Notre Dame got canceled. He was right on the bubble of getting invited to the combine in Indy. And he didn't get to do any of his drills at his pro day. And he's a linebacker type. So here's what things got interesting to me, is where he kind of stacked up with Kenneth Murray, who was our first round linebacker pick. You guys know I don't really care about the combine much, but there are some guys, these lower, like guys that aren't in the spotlight, you know what they are. For them, it at least allows their name to get thrown in the mix. And this is one of those guys that maybe just didn't even get his name thrown in the mix as much because he didn't have a stage to really spotlight himself. But you guys know I'm not trying to say that I love the combine now, but the measurables are equal to Kenneth Murray. So we have 6'2", 231. That's what this guy is. Kenneth Murray sits at 6'2", 241. Kenneth Murray ran his 40 in 4.52. We have Asmar ran his 40 also in a 4.52, ran the same 40 time, same height, same weight. He's got the frame and the speed that everyone is so enamored by with Kenneth Murray. He also did 26 repetitions on the bench. That's 225. Kenneth Murray did 21. So this guy's a big, strong, fast, athletic football player. So I think it's awesome that it sucks that he didn't get an opportunity to display some of that on his pro day. But I think he could have an opportunity to make the squad in one of those much needed special teams positions, and then potentially at least add depth, because we know Denzel Perryman doesn't tend to go a whole season.
Yeah.
So you need some depth there just in case somebody goes down. You don't want to go into the playoffs with one linebacker defenses. So I like the prospect. I think we do a great job with the undrafted guys. It's pretty cool to see how impressive our GM and scouts do with finding those guys that are a little bit less known. And I think this year more than any is when those undrafted guys really gonna pop, because they didn't have their pro days. They didn't get to showcase a lot of their skills to even get on the board. You kind of drafted the big name guys. So yeah, I think this guy's got a good shot.
That's awesome. I wonder how often like one of these players is called by a couple teams, and we have such a reputation of like at least one undrafted guy making the roster every year. They're more likely, or it's more interesting for them to come to the Chargers because they know they have a better track record of giving guys opportunities. That's what I'm interested in. I think that's why we get so many awesome undrafted guys, is because we have a reputation. Good one.
It's possible.
Yeah, a lot of it's, if you're a free agent, you can be selfish, so they get to pick where they want to go. Most unless you only have one team calling, then obviously you go there. But if you're gonna go somewhere that has, if you're a linebacker, you're not gonna pick a team that has 2 Pro Bowl guys sitting in front of you with a whole bunch of depth outside of that. Most of the time, that's why I'm shocked there's not more tackles that wanted to come take a shot with the Chargers, and maybe we just didn't reach out to anymore. But you get your choice. If you're drafted, you don't get a choice unless you pull an Eli a-hole Manning and throw a temper tantrum. But if you get drafted, you get drafted. That's where you go.
Exactly.
These guys that are undrafted, they chose to come play for the Chargers for some reason. So yeah, I don't know how much of it is that we tend to give guys opportunities and turn out, but yeah, it's fun. It's kind of cool to think about.
It absolutely is. I think we've got some stellar guys, and now we all we have to wait for is the preseason, and fingers crossed, folks, that it happens. That please give us a preseason so that way we know that there will actually be a season. Well, let's see. So after the draft, one of us got to hang out with some newfound buddies.
Yeah, I got invited to a private draft on Facebook. They basically had like 150 spots open, and then they reached out to a whole bunch of Charger fans that are active on Facebook, and they hit me up, and I joined. And it's a really cool opportunity to just meet some people that were really positive. It was like a thread that was constantly going. Everyone was on Zoom, but everyone was commenting in Facebook, and everyone was really positive. It was just like a really good vibe. The guy that set it up, his name's David. He basically runs Thunder Alley, all the tailgating. So
Nice.
really shout out to him for setting it up and getting that rolling, because it really just brought people together. So at the end of the draft, I just shot out a little message in the group saying who would like to come on and just kind of give their thoughts. So we got a couple guys that were willing to, and yeah, we got a little interviews that Kyle and I did with them.
Sweet. Well, who's the first one we're going to listen to?
I think we're going to go with Chris from San Bernardino, and this guy is hilarious.
Excellent. I need a good laugh. Chris, what do you got for me?
All right, well, we're here with Chris from San Bernardino. Chris, thanks for coming on, man. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, cool. Well, tell us, we've been asking everybody, like, when did you become a Charger fan?
I think it was basically when my dad had sex with my mom, probably.
Let's go. Hoping after a Charger victory.
Hopefully, I don't know. That was back in the mid 80s, so.
Some Fouts era.
Yeah, it's been a while. Born and raised.
Awesome.
Yeah, born and raised. I've been a diehard since I was born. Both sides, my family, both sides are from San Diego, so.
Awesome.
Killer, man.
So we're just finished the draft. We're asking everyone, what was your favorite pick? Which, and there was a crazy, what I think is the steal of the draft in the 7th round. Who was you most excited for that we drafted this weekend?
You know what? Naturally, Herbert, I think he's a pretty safe, solid pick. Hopefully he can be a franchise quarterback. And I'm glad we picked him in the 1st round. We had to get a quarterback either way, because hopefully we're not going to have this high a pick for a long time.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. But aside from him, when we traded up to the 1st round to get that number 23 pick, I launched out of my chair. I was like, oh my God. I could not believe that. So I was stoked. I was like, you know what? Telesco and those guys, they know what they're doing. So
Right.
to see them do that, it made me feel more excited about the season, because that means they felt like they could go with quality over quantity in this draft, which means they think they got all the building blocks in place right now.
For sure.
Yeah.
So that was,
Coach Lynn said he had a man crush on Kenneth Murray, so you know that guy's got to be a stud. That's a pretty manly man coming out to say he has a man crush on another dude.
yeah. So I'm pretty excited about that. That's, more about the move and what the move meant than the player necessarily,
Right.
but
Yeah.
absolutely the player as well.
Awesome.
Absolutely. All right. Well, last question for you. Now that you've taken in what we've done with this draft, what do you think our record's going to be next year?
Shoot, well, I don't know. We got to be at least 9-6, I think. 10-4.
That's playoffs, bro. That's playoffs,
9-7,
bro.
10-6. My bad.
Yeah. That's pushing for that new wild card spot that they threw in there.
I'm erring on the side of caution because 2 years ago that was unbelievable. We won all those close games that we lost by just a point or two the previous season. Then last season was a humbling experience.
Yeah.
So
Totally.
I feel like we're still a very strong team. We still got a lot of blocks in place. We got some receivers now. It's going to be interesting to see what they do in this with undrafted free agents.
And that's where that's where we thrive, right? That's where we get our good stuff. So that's
Absolutely.
awesome.
I think we had a very good draft. I think, hopefully Tyrod can return to his starting form, because he had some good years as a starter. So if he could do that well, and then teach Herbert some things, I feel like we're set up pretty good for the future right now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Totally
Go check out. Kevin actually put together a little highlight tape on Tyrod. It's awesome on our YouTube channel. You should go check it out.
Definitely will do.
Yeah.
Right,
Super
brother.
cool.
Well, hey, Chris, thanks so much, man. We really appreciate it, bro. And bolt up, baby.
Yep.
Thanks.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Guys.
Bye.
How you going?
Okay, love you. Bye.
Yeah, I don't know if he got the reference or if he got off the call like, wow, what a doofus. He just accidentally said,
Okay, love you.
I
Bye.
love you too, man.
It's all
I
love in
like
the
that.
Charger
Oh
family.
man, he reminded me of Rivers when you guys asked him. He was like, "Well, shoot." It's just like, oh man,
awesome.
that felt too much like Rivers.
Yeah.
But cool
He's
dude.
funny. That guy rules. Yeah. Thanks for coming on,
Yeah, that
man. We
was cool.
appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, Chris. Who else we got?
So second, we're going with Mr. Patrick from Long Beach.
Patrick from Long Beach. What do you got?
All right. Well, we're here with Patrick from Long Beach. Patrick, thanks for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. So I just want to, when we talk to everybody, we want to just find out, like, when did you become a Charger fan? Like, when did that happen?
Yeah, so I grew up a Niner fan by default. My dad is a Niner fan. And craziest thing is he's the reason why I'm a Charger fan as well, because he took me to my first training camp. I don't know if you guys remember, I don't know if it was 02, 03, when they had their first training camp at Home Depot Center.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so he read it in the newspaper, and he thought, oh man, I'm gonna take my son, go see some NFL players. And that was my first time seeing NFL players up front live. And ever since then I became a Charger fan.
Awesome,
Wow.
man. That's rad.
So this is kind of our post-draft reaction episode that you're now going to be on. We wanted to get your opinion. What was your favorite pick? It can be, there were some exciting ones, there was big names, there was surprising ones. Who was the one you're kind of most excited about?
Yeah, I think the most exciting one I was about was I think it might have been, I like Herbert. Don't get me wrong, my excitement wasn't as high as if it would have been Tua. Pretty sure, like most Charger fans.
I'm on the same page with you, my man.
Yeah, but I do have faith. I think at first I was like, please don't pick Herbert. And as we picked him, and I started watching film and seeing him, I feel like he might actually do good in the league. So Herbert was, I think, Kenneth Murray though, that might have been my favorite one, because at linebacker he shores up a position group that we really lack a lot of. And the good thing too is he's pretty big dude.
Yeah.
Compared to because a lot of people were saying we should have took Patrick Queen, which I like him too, but he's kind of like all our other linebackers, kind of smaller, we needed a guy that sures up, sure tackler.
Mhm.
So I think Kenneth Murray was my favorite pick.
I love it. I love that pick too because I love that they gave him number 56. He's very Merriman-y for me. Like he's just a thumper. So I love that pick. That's a good pick.
Yeah.
And then last question we have for you, man, is like, what do you think our record's going to be for this year?
Ooh, I don't want to set the bar too high. I know everybody's probably shooting for the roofs after the draft. I think because of the quarterback position is unsure right now, and that's a main piece.
Yeah,
I think we'll go 10-6. I think that's if these quarterbacks, either one, Tyrod or Justin Herbert, can flourish and become stars, and obviously our record could be better, but I'm gonna say 10-6. That's probably a good range.
It's a good conservative pick, but 10 wins and you're in. That's a playoff record, man. I like it.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, hey, man, thank you so much for coming on, and we'll check back in later, man. If you want to come back on, we'll chat again later.
For sure, man. I appreciate you guys, man. Charger Chat Podcast. It's my favorite podcast, so I appreciate you guys.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. Bolt up, man.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye. It's like how people take us saying "K, love you, bye." It might just be slightly too inside. We got to grow this thing out because
I think it's a good test. If somebody says that this is their favorite podcast to listen to, we got to test you and go,
"K, love you,
okay,
bye."
Love you, bye. What is the response? What is the proper response? K, love you, bye.
K, love you, bye. Patrick, thanks, man. That was awesome. We appreciate your time, bro.
Yeah, appreciate the kind words too. That brought a little tear to my. It's just good to know that people are actually listening to this, and we're not just like sitting around talking to each other for like no good reason. Like there are people that are listening to this. So those of you that are listening, hey, thanks. Really appreciate it. All right. I see a doozy of a third chat here. Who is this? Who is this knucklehead that we're going to talk to?
Well, we ran out of people to talk to, so we went into like the bottom barrel of our options.
We were trying to schedule some people, and they just weren't responding. So we're like, "Hey, this guy's sitting around. Let's throw him on
This
here."
guy will talk to anybody.
We just so happened to. What did he say? When did you become a Charger fan? When this guy made us. So
yeah,
here he is, Papa Dukes.
Papa Duggan coming back. He's a fan favorite. I know it. What do you got for us, Mr. Dave?
All right, we're here with Dave Grumpy Duggan. Dave Grumpy Duggan, how are we doing on this fine final day of the draft? How are you feeling about the Chargers?
Yeah, no, it was good. It was all the picks that I think I told you in March was going to get picked. So
yeah,
after taking all the heat from the Charger Chat management and then banned to never being talked to again, look where we are now, happy and dancing in the streets over our picks.
Well, here's the deal: you knew the picks, but you weren't happy about them. You foretold that they were going to happen, and like, oh, of course they're going to pick them, and then it actually happened.
You did throw
so
some.
It wasn't like we're going to pick Herbert. It's going to be awesome. You're like, they're going to pick Herbert. No matter what.
You threw some shade at us on Joshua Kelly. Shade.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that. I don't know what that pick was.
He's awesome.
I know. No, you know what? I mean, running backs. I thought we would do more offensive line in the last couple of picks, kind of like the Bears. I just watched the Bears just do. They took 4 guys, some of them small schools, great upside, but they knew where their holes were. I mean, Telesco's always been, I'm just going to take the best guy. Yeah. He's just, I'm going to take the best guy, right? And Herbert for me was more, I was watching a lot of the schools he was going to, individual workouts he was doing, and they were talking about how strong he was. They were so when I'm watching and listening to everybody talk about Tua and Herbert, the guys that were working with him, Tua was all about, can he be healthy? He's left-hander. He's got all the natural gifts. But with Herbert he had more of the work in and the processing of what he was doing, and they were saying he's going to be a player.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of went there.
Well, give us your favorite pick of the draft.
Well, I like the second pick. I mean, the trade up, I was a little shocked, but obviously a bunch of inside linebackers with Murray let right out. They knew he was going to get yanked. And they wanted him over anybody else that was in those 3 or 4 guys, because in the next 9 picks, you had 2, I think it was 2 or 3 inside linebackers.
Queen and some other guys, yeah.
Yeah. So he was just, he's athletic, and that's what this defense is. He's a sideline to sideline, and that's what coaches always talk about, always want. Now, sideline to sideline is great unless you're slow at anticipation. Your brother was a perfect example of that. He said, he's not fast enough to get sideline to sideline, but yet he beat everybody to the sideline when a ball carrier was in play simply because of his anticipation in his reads. So Murray also, that's where they say he's a little bit difficult. He's relied so much on his sheer athleticism,
his speed
that he can make up for it. But so what I'm hoping is he does get that coaching and he gets that portion added to that, because that will make him scary. He's going to be good anyway. But that'll make him scary if he can get those attributes through his work.
You're most excited for Kenneth Murray then?
Well, yeah, I think he's a great fit. Herbert for me is you know what? Hey, he's got the time to learn, and we've already felt, and I've heard you guys talk about Tyrod's going to be our guy, and he's just got to be that guy and get us through this year and let Herbert learn like all of the good quarterbacks over the last 2 years. When they get to sit out, look how good they are when they come back. When they first get their shot.
So the draft's done. The big offseason, like free agent signings are done. What's your projection for the record this year?
Record. Oh. Let's see. 0 home games. So that hurts. Well,
get out of here.
It's still going to be. It's still all of LA. Rams.
There are no home games. No, they're not going to play in front of fans. So it's just
that would be great. Oh, that'll change my picks by 2 games.
All right. Well, imagine that. There's no fans in the stands. What's the record?
Yeah. Well, I think where their best shot's going to be, I think it's going to be 9-7, and I think that they're going to get a shot at that additional playoff spot because of it. Because the AFC West is going to be tough. So I think that they're all going to sweep through their alternate games. I don't know who they played. Who do they play in the NFC? I don't remember if it was the South or who they are now. But I think they'll all do well against that when I looked at it the first time. But the other guy I did like, just to digress a little bit, was the last pick with Hill. That's
monster pick. I think that's one of the better picks in the draft
because
for value.
He's that slot guy that since Woodhead and these guys, we've not just had that. You try to make Keenan that, right? But this guy's a true slot guy. He runs unbelievable patterns. He's quick. They can get him in the swings. That's going to really help Tyrod. And so the fact that there's just too deep of a wide receiver pool for him to go earlier, because he would have in any other year, I think. So awesome. I think that was and they just kept waiting on it. They knew, right? They didn't have to spend any early picks. So he'll be cheap, and he'll be in that slot for sure.
Awesome.
Okay, final question for me. Are we going to beat the Chiefs this year?
I don't like the hesitation. We're moving on. Let's go. We're beating the Chiefs at least once this year. Hesitation is lame.
Good.
Hesitation.
At least he had to think about it.
He's thinking too hard. It's an easy sell. We're going to win at least one of those games.
I love you, Kevin.
All right. Bye, Dad. Bye, Kyle.
I wanted to. I hope they beat him in Kansas City, as a matter of fact.
Deal.
That's where I want to win.
Let's all go to the game. All right. Thanks, Pops. Love you, man.
All right.
Love you. All right.
All right. Yeah, I didn't even say love you back. Okay. So there's a lot to unpack here. Papa Dudes had a lot to say. A lot to say. But the one thing I took away from this was, Kyle, you're slow as shit. That's the one thing I took away from that whole thing.
Basically, basically he said when I played football, I was slow, but I guessed right sometimes, and I anticipated.
You anticipated, but you could barely get there.
You didn't have the acceleration, but you got where you needed to be.
Yeah, that's just me.
Brutal honesty. I love my dad so much. He's just that's brutally honest, but a lot of good points, I think. I think
Kevin's just mad because he didn't talk about your football playing at all.
What football? I stopped at one point and started doing digital media. I was a total nerd. It was lame. Played ice hockey. Sorry. See, but that's the thing. There's nothing for him to talk about with me. With you,
no.
It's a curse because we can talk about how bad you were, but you played longer, so it makes more sense.
All state, bro.
I know. I'm sorry.
All right, moving on. Wooly, what else? What's next?
Well, I think that's pretty much it. And I think honestly, if we were to ask ourselves the questions, who was the most exciting pick for us?
Mine was by far Kenneth Murray, just because you could hear it in the instant reaction. I had no idea it was coming. So it was just sheer excitement. And I'm excited for him, putting together his little video. Like, the guy is just a highlight machine. He just hits people really, really hard. So I'm excited for him.
Yeah, I want to say KJ Hill just because he was the 7th round. I think he's going to be I think he's going to be that guy you talk about 4 or 5 years from now. Like, holy cow, we got this guy in 7th.
Right.
But like, the one I'm most excited to watch play is Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
I want to see if he's the quarterback that we want him to be. Like, that's what I'm going to be really excited the day he finally gets his chance. I personally believe it'll be this year. If poor Tyrod is back on a short leash like he always has been, I really want the guy to succeed, but I think come week 8, if we're 4-4 and he has a poor performance, I think Herbert's going to get a shot. And if I'm just being honest, that's the guy I'm most excited to watch play. Kenneth Murray's going to be a stud, and that'll be fun. But like, I'm just interested. Like, not much of the fan base really wanted Justin Herbert, so I'm excited to see if it pans out.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. I'm excited for that as well. But all of these talks of 9-7, 10-6, folks. It's 16-0 or nothing. All right,
let's go.
So Tyrod is going to be driving this car all the way off into the sunset, and Justin's going to get a lot of knowledge from him and learn. And I think honestly,
his hair will be out the window, beautiful hair blowing in the back, just as he's riding the coattails. I love it.
He does. He is pretty dreamy looking. I won't deny that. I think my most exciting pick. I think only because we watched it live. I think Herbert was the most exciting because it was just the anticipation of who is it going to be? Who's going to be the number 1 pick? And after seeing Tua go, it really became question marks of okay, well, who is it? Is it really going to be Justin? Is it really going to be Justin? And it was. It ended up being Justin. So, I think that's. I honestly, I love all of these guys. I think these are all great additions to the team. I think it's going to be a great year. I'm really looking forward to it.
16-0. I didn't give my prediction. 16-0. I agree with you.
16-0. It's 16-0 or nothing. None of this conservative, realistic world. Okay, it's what
until we lose our first game, and then it'll be whatever and
15-1,
right,
and then 2, whatever it is.
Well, realistically, I want to be 19-0, right?
True. Yes, this Super Bowl.
16-0 is not really that great because then you're just okay. You didn't win the Super Bowl still. I want to be 19-0.
I'm thinking 11-5 though. I say 16-0. I mean 11-5 is what my thought is. That's my thought.
Honestly,
16-0 all the way, all the way.
I just want a season. Just please tell me there's going to be a season.
Give us some Hard Knocks. Justin Herbert on Hard Knocks. Let's go.
Oh my God, I forgot about Hard Knocks. Please make this happen. Please.
Oh my God, I forgot about Hard Knocks.
I did. God, I'm just telling you, I just want there to be a season. Please let there be a season. So
yes.
All right, folks. Well, we've gotten over the hurdle, like I said, of the draft, and now we've just got Hard Knocks to look forward to, and let's see if that happens. Fingers crossed, knock on wood, do whatever you got to do to make sure it happens. But until next episode, that's going to do it for us here at Charger Chat. Don't forget to bolt up, because we're ready for any squad, any place.
Okay, love you.
Love you. Bye.
Yeah, no. And now, a word from our sponsors.
Well, hey there, gang. What's the scoop? Want to meet up at the local soda shop and get us some frozen moo juice? Have you tried the newest flavors? Why, it's the bee's knees, and they all come from the same place. It's Herbert Sherbert. Herbert Sherbert has all the flavors you can ask for, like raspberry quisenberry, lemon perryman, and our popular flavor, Rainbowsa Sherbert. It's Nito Frito Bandito, so don't forget to cool off this summer with some of Herbert Sherbert. Now available at your local soda shop. Pick up only.